Olga. Yeah, I can kind of see it. Onomatopoeia is one of the funnest ways in which we create words. Think of a sound a balloon makes when it explodes. Instead of coining a whole new word for it, we can just imitate the sound it made and use that as a word. In this case, pop. Pop is one of the most obvious onomatopoeic words out there, along the likes of boom, crash, cough, and the many words we use to make the sounds animals make. In most cases, we can spot a word that's onomatopoeic from a mile away, but this isn't always the case. There's actually a selection of words which come from onomatopoeic roots that have strayed quite far from the sounds they were initially named after. So much so that you might not even realise they are onomatopoeic words today. So let's look into some of them. A really great place to start is with the word of owl, the title for a range of birds known for being nocturnal, being able to turn their heads all the way around. Today, the onomatopoeic word we link with the sound they make is hoot hoot, which, that's my impression of owl, I guess. They don't really make a sound that sounds all much like owl, as if they were a Pokemon or something, I suppose. Yet this word of owl is believed to come from an older onomatopoeic term. Owl is believed to have its ultimate origins with the Old Norse word of ugla, which evolved into ul in Old English and gave us owl as we know it today. That original Norse word, however, is believed to be imitative of the sound that owl makes. I can kind of see, I suppose. Ulga. Yeah, I can kind of see it. But as the word and English as a whole evolve, it strayed further and further from its onomatopoeic origins. One of my favourite word origins, and one I've talked about a couple times in videos already, has to be with the word barbarian, the title we give to any kind of savage warrior today. This word has its origins all the way back in ancient Greece. The Greeks would refer to anyone who wasn't a Greek speaker as barbaros, which would mean foreign or strange. This Greek word came from how foreign tongues sounded to Greek speakers. As most other languages are so different to Greek, it meant they all sounded more or less like absolute gibberish to them. To the Greeks, other languages just sound like this ba 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 kind of sound. And there was this ba 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 sound, which eventually went into the creation of the word barbaros, which eventually gave us that word of barbarian to mean a strange wild warrior. This means the word barbarian comes from the unintelligible languages of non-Greek speakers. Well, to the ears of the Greeks anyway. Before we continue, I'd like to briefly talk about Patreon and Super Thanks. Patreon is the best way to financially support Name Explain, and donating just $1 a month gets you ad-free videos, a chance to say what names it explained, an exclusive monthly newsletter, and your name at the end of these videos. All of that can be found at patreon.com/nameexplain, which we linked down below. Conversely, if you want to just make a one-time donation, you can leave a super thanks directly in the comments section of any of my videos here on YouTube. They help out tremendously too. Thank you. A word I really didn't expect to come from onomatopoeic roots has to be pebble, as in, the little stones you find on the beach or something. Like, what sound does a pebble even make? Stones are very well known for being inanimate and not really doing much. But on their own, they don't really make any kind of sound, of course. But when you say push them, or move them all along together, or even run water through them, you'll hear a way more distinct pebble-like sound. It's from these sounds that the word is believed to come from. Pebble is thought to possibly come from the Old English papolistan, and this word is thought to be an onomatopoeia of that unique sound that a stream makes when water is going through it and bashing across the pebbles. It's a really cute idea, and it's wild that something that's so famously static and lifeless as a pebble can even have a name of onomatopoeic origins. Well, maybe at least anyway. There's actually another theory. Some believe the word pebble comes from the Old English papula, meaning a small spot, like the pimples you get on your skin. This makes sense as spots and pebbles are pretty similar in appearance, and I'm not going to show a picture of a spot or a pimple of a zip because I'm not a fan of that, and also I'm a spotty boy anyway. I've probably got one on here anyway. Amber, if you can zoom up on a spot I have. But what if I told you there's an entire chain of islands which have a name of onomatopoeic origins? Well, let me introduce to you Orkney, a chain of Scottish islands found off the nation's coast. This one came about in a really roundabout way, so bear with me on this one. Orkney isn't directly named after a sound. Instead, the islands are named after a creature which lived here. What creature exactly? Well, we can't seem to agree on that. I read sources which claimed it was either named after a species of pig, seal, or even orcas, which is probably the least correct, but it's understandable as Orkney sounds so much like orca, and the word orc has weird origins coming from orc, like the things in Lord of the Rings as well. It's a weird word. But for ease's sake, let's just say it was a seal. This seal species which lived on these islands acquired the name of Orkney. This would have been from the native tongue of the land, and you guessed it, that word comes directly from the sound these seals would make. And I can kind of see it, I guess. Orkney. Yeah, I can if you imagine a seal sound, it is a little bit similar like to that. But what this means is that these islands are named after a kind of seal, and these seals are named after the sound they made. Like I said, it's a bit of a weird, long, roundabout story. All these examples have been for tangible concepts, things that we can see and even touch. But even names of more abstract ideas can have their origins in the realm of onomatopoeia. And this is best seen with the word of cliché. This is a word we use to mean something is stereotypical or a bit obvious. Like if someone asked you to think of a food monkeys eat and you said bananas, that would be a little bit cliché. Come on monkeys, you're better than that. Eat something else. You're so basic, monkeys eat bananas. No, I can't be angry at you for too long. I love seeing a monkey eat a banana. Makes me happy. So, how on earth did this concept get its name from a sound? And what sound would it even be? Well, the word has its origins in the French term of cliché, which means to click. So the term cliché is named after a clicking sound. With that clicking sound specifically being an echoey clicking sound a mould of some kind striking metal would make within a factory. The idea of a mould hitting metal led to our modern idea of something being cliché due to the idea of a mould doing the same thing over and over again with no alteration. It's easy to see how this birthed the idea of cliché we have today. But all in all, this means that the word cliché has its origins with a metallic clicking sound. Who would have thought? But seriously though, onomatopoeia is all around us. It's one of the most innate ways we have of coining words, and its influence is much further reaching than you may have initially thought. Let me know about any other interesting words of onomatopoeic origins I might have missed out on. Also, please suggest a topic down below we could cover in next Monday's Name Explain video. It could be about literally anything, and the topic can be as niche or broad as you like. I will then choose 3 of those topics and place them in a poll for my patrons to vote on. Then the winner from that poll will be the topic covered in next Monday's Name Explain video. You can vote in that poll as well as enjoy many other great benefits by visiting patreon.com/nameexplain, which will be linked down below, and by donating just $1 a month. Thank you. Anyway, that's more than enough on myself. Don't forget to go follow on Instagram, I'm NameExplainYT, and don't forget to join the Facebook page, Friends of Name Explain, where you can chat with myself and many other name nerds. Okay all, take care. Back at this situation, back sitting on my desk, fingers crossed it doesn't fall through this time. Oh, you can see my mic arm a little bit. Balls. That strayed quite far. But when you say push them or move them or move, onomatopoeia, so when pebbles trickle through it. Otherwise just put a thing up saying, Patrick actually remembered to wash his face today. That's weird. I read sources which claimed it was David. I love seeing a monkey eat a banana. Makes me happy. That's weird. This means that the word cliché has its origins with a who would have thought? That's a weird face. God, yeah, sometimes when I can't talk today. I just heard a creak from this desk, so I need to film this and get out of here.